Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have a special guest with us tonight. He can say his name, what he does, and all that jazz, and anything else he wants to talk about.
Awesome. Well, what's up, everyone? Thanks so much again, Brandon, for having me here. I'm super excited for this meeting, virtually, of course. My name is Dee. My stage name is TheOneDNA. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm also a mental health advocate. One of my aspirations, apart from breaking into the mainstream industry, is to co-integrate everything that I stand for, everything that I believe in, so mental health, social justice, all that stuff into my music.
Awesome. I'm very much an advocate for that as well. People that have been with the channel know that I'm also about all of those things. So glad to have you on, Do. But the first question is, usually I love having or asking this question to like singer-songwriters, people who are upcoming. How did you kind of start out with music? Has it always been something that's been like a lifelong passion for you? Or was it something that you kind of like, you went to school and you're like, man, I saw like, a band play, or you went to a concert? What was like kind of the first instances of you like unlocking your like musical creativity and stuff like that?
Well, thanks for that question, Brandon. So I've always, I've been singing ever since I was little, as long as I could remember, probably around the ages of like 5 and 6. But it wasn't up until the age of 10 when I realized I really wanted to pursue something in the music industry. But yeah, I've been singing all my life, and I began writing, I want to say, like the beginning of high school, so like
Awesome.
sophomore year, yeah. So towards the middle of my high school career, and yeah, so far it's been such a great journey. A lot of moments, a lot of ups and downs, and everything in between. But I'm just so grateful to be part of the process, So yeah.
And then I guess how are you kind of, it's always interesting for me to kind of view this in the lens of like, obviously we're doing this digitally and, remotely. So how is kind of your experience in like the pandemic been in terms of like your creative process? Because I know, at least for myself, I took some time off, and I know that it's been hard for a lot of people. So how do you continue to find that like creative energy to like make stuff or like to make music and all that stuff? Because I've been following you on social media since we had met on it, and I just feel like you're like super positive and all that sort of stuff, and which is awesome. So I'm just curious how you kind of keep that like creative energy going, and always are like, man, I need to keep putting stuff out, because it is very impressive considering that I'm very much in the same boat.
Thank you, Brandon. Honestly, I appreciate you so much for saying that and for taking time out to check my channel out. Honestly, just like all of us, the pandemic hit us hard, definitely affected my motivation one way or another. And I definitely, tried, like ways to, stay creative and to stay on top of things, while, not losing sight of who I am as a person, an artist. So 2020, while I definitely took it much slower compared to previous years, I definitely took that as an opportunity to network and to connect with other artists, other creatives. So last year, I got the amazing opportunity to collaborate with so many other wonderful artists. Many of them happen to be API as well. So yeah, definitely a positive takeaway there during the whole pandemic.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're taking strides to obviously include API people into like your music and stuff. And I obviously want to kind of touch on like, being a mental health advocate and like obviously trying to like, help promote like Asian culture and like obviously being an advocate for that. How do you kind of incorporate that into your music? Because like I always find it interesting when artists really, take a stance for that. Obviously, it's a very good thing, and like I hope that this inspires other people to come out and be more vocal about things in their lives that are a little bit more difficult or harder to speak about. So how do you find, I guess, the balance of like creating music and it doesn't affect your kind of like creative flow versus like knowing who you are as an individual and kind of allowing people to see that like for who you are, because that's definitely cool too as well.
Right. Well, honestly, with music, it's all about originality and authenticity.
Oh yeah.
It's all about realness. Anything but people see right through you eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, of course. So with my work and what I do, in terms of how I integrate mental health into my music, many of the songs that I've written so far, it's either implicated or it's like pretty obvious that I'm talking about, you know, like the struggle with mental health and what one goes through, like the whole process, and overcoming the obstacles and the adversities. Definitely, you know, some of my more vulnerable tracks, but honestly, it just feels, you know, super cathartic to be able to, you know, let out all those emotions and to use my story, my words, because I feel, and you know, I want to say that that you can resonate with me on this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Just with the vibe that I have so far. Storytelling is such a powerful tool. And yeah, exactly. So I want to use my story, my voice as a platform to inspire others. And if we're talking about mental health, you know, obviously we've grown so much as a society, but you know, just like everything else, there's still so much more work left to be done, and especially in Asian cultures, it's still, you know, taboo.
Yeah.
So you know, we're trying to break down barriers, and you know, we're just trying to inspire people to, you know, talk about it, raise awareness, and have these uncomfortable conversations with, you know, folks who are still closed-minded about it. So,
yeah. I think it's, and you know, I gotta commend you for that again. Like, I feel like for myself, like, even like I have this whole YouTube audience, and you know, like I feel like I owe myself and like my fans a duty to be honest with like how I feel and like what's going on with my life, because if I don't tell them, or if, like they're going through a similar situation, like we can traverse it together, or like, you know, or if somebody that has been through it can understand what I'm going through, it's always like a really cool experience. And obviously I want to try to highlight people like yourself and just like people in general that have that sort of platform. So again, gotta commend you greatly on that. To keep it a little bit more lighthearted, of course, I'm curious where you have gotten the name OneDNA, because I have been trying to figure it out for like the past couple of days now, and I'm just like, I know I'm gonna ask this because I always feel like when I ask people about their band name, it's a little cheesy, but I'm sure you have a reasonable explanation for why you named it the OneDNA. So I'm just curious to get it from the source, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Well, this is such an enlightening question. Well, here's your answer, plain and simple. Again, going back to what I said earlier, you know, all about authenticity, embracing yourself, embracing your identity, being proud of who you are. So I'm my own person. You know, everyone has their own, you know, unique DNA strands, right?
Yeah.
And DNA is because that's actually my initial.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
so double meaning.
Yeah, it all worked out. Yeah, so that's why it's the OneDNA.
Oh, that's very cool. Wow, that worked out very well, obviously, in your case.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next question would be, for people who are, you know, new to checking you out, I would assume, what would be one track you would recommend to them? Like, what's one DNA track you'd be like, you know what? If I was like a new listener and I wanted to kind of get the idea of like the OneDNA, what would be one track that I would be like, you know what? That's the one. That's the one I should recommend to people.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we're talking about covers. I can only choose one.
Okay.
Biological stasis, mind will shift into manic places. Wish I loved and kept a good friendship. Watch life, here I go again. I can't see me cry, can't see.
Yeah. I can only choose one.
Well, okay. So why don't we do like, if you've done an original track and like a cover track, and we'll narrow it down to that.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Original tracks, I've yet to release one of them out.
Okay.
I have like so many, like, you know, banked in my computer.
Yeah, sure.
I have like, you know, demos recorded and all that stuff, but like nothing has been officially released, but we're gonna change that this year. But we'll talk more about that later. Regarding covers, damn, I know I recently released something that I'm super proud of, and I got a lot of positive feedback, which I'm super grateful for. I did a medley of Mariah Carey's "Don't Forget About Us" and "We Belong Together." She's my number one idol, by the way. So yeah, don't mess with me. Just kidding. So actually, this kind of ties in to something else. I'm not sure if you were planning to ask me this later, but when people ask me like what my sound is, you know, I consider myself a balladeer. I love singing ballads. You know, I grew up singing the ballads. So pop, R&B, ballads, that's my niche. But a lot of people have also mentioned or expressed that they really do see, you know, a musical theater side of me, and you know, I you know, agree with them. I consider myself a very animated, theatrical person, and so with that said, there's a cover that I did a couple years ago. It's on my YouTube channel that I am so super proud of. Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. Fantastic movie, fantastic soundtrack. So y'all want to go check it out? Appreciate it. Yes. So Never Enough, and the Mariah Carey medley that I recently did. Yeah, and originals. We'll stay tuned for that. But originals, yeah, there's a certain track that, you know, I'm, you know, super eager for people to listen. A couple of my friends have listened to it already, you know, because I wanted to ask for feedback and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And out of all the songs, out of all the demos that I, you know, have you know, shared, that I had shared with them, they told me that this particular song you know, stood out from, you know, from all the songs that I you know, I've written. And actually this song, again, it talks about mental health and the struggles of overcoming mental health, and the title speaks for itself, and it's called Whirlwind. Okay. So stay tuned for that.
There we go. Gotta keep people on the edge. I love that.
That's for sure.
My girlfriend will be very happy to know that you mentioned The Greatest Showman. I have not personally seen it yet. I plan on seeing it because she's been asking me to do it and asking me to see it. So I feel like after this, I'm gonna have to tell her that you had recommended. Well, obviously she already knows it's great, so I already know that I'm getting the recommendation to go see it.
I'm gonna hold you accountable, so you're to hear, folks. Brandon. The Greatest Showman.
I in the next interview or some video, I will say that I will hold everybody accountable and say that I've watched it. But no, you're actually the first person that I've had on that hasn't had original music out yet. Just it's very interesting because, like, again, I had checked out the covers and stuff, and I was like he's so talented. So I was really kind of scouring the internet for like original stuff.
You know what, Brandon? I actually do have one out, but I wrote this like back in like junior year of high school. Okay. It's like somewhere on the I may have privated the video because, honestly, no offense, but like it was really, really cheesy.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's there somewhere. I might have to take a look at it later. The song is called One of a Kind. I co-wrote it with my former vocal coach. He's super, super talented, and he you know, produced the entire track. And it's very R&B, so it's very 2010, 2011.
Yeah, I feel okay.
You know, like Justin Bieber vibes, you know, from when he first started out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there's that. But, you know, that's like fetus music. That was like a chapter.
I got you. Yeah. You're grown. You're grown. We're grown up. You know, the new shit.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, I you know, just out of curiosity, or not even out of curiosity, just, you know, just for the heck of it, I would, you know, revisit the track. And I mean, I must say, you know, it still sounds pretty tight. Would I, you know, make changes to you know, better represent where I am today, like vocally,
yeah, sure,
and like individually? Yeah, totally. I still think, you know, it has potential, I guess. So
I think you could remix it. That would be kind of tight. I'd be about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, that song is called One of a Kind. So
it'd be two of a kind. That's what you should remix it. But it was cool because like again, it was no diss that you have like just covers out. I mean, it's all good. Everybody should go check it out. But like, I was kind of impressed because I was like he must have some like really good stuff like underground. You know what I mean? He must be passing the secrets around. You know, because like whenever I have artists on and they're kind of like a little low key about their music, I'm like, they might have some fire in their box or something that I don't know personally, but like I'm hoping that people come, you know, and listen to it, because like again, the covers I was kind of blown away by, and like I said, I genuinely, whenever I have like people on to interview, I always want to check out what they have, like whether it be like covers, original music, whatever it may be. Like it always kind of gives me a more well-rounded perspective of like who I'm interviewing and stuff. And so like, for me, I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of taken aback, but at the same point, I'm like, you know what? He, you know, 2020 was a rough year. 2021 starting a little little rough start right now. So I'm hoping that you again. I'm hoping that you release some original stuff, because then it'll give me a barometer to compare what your covers are. Because I'm like, he's talented as a vocalist doing the covers. I'm just curious what his range is in terms of like original music. Like how far could he like diversify himself? And so I don't know. I'm here to offer you the encouragement to release solo music.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, no. One of my goals that I want to really dive head on this year, and then some, is to release some original content. Hopefully an EP. Again, so going back to last year, I've been really getting into the whole like collaborating, networking with creatives, which have been which has been a great experience for me. So speaking of which, I'm I guess you could say I'm trying to develop my team at the moment.
Sure.
And I'm trying to look for certain producers and songwriters even to help manifest my vision and bring it to reality. Yeah. To help to help take my music up a notch. So that's what I'm trying to work on at the moment.
You're trying to elevate your game. I guess.
I'm trying to elevate my game, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like whenever I have artists on, like it's the inner workings of like wanting to get better, and I think that's always like incredible that like you think about it in that sort of terminology of like I need to like have other people around me to get better. Like it's the same thing of like when I'm watching other people who do interviews and stuff, like I'm always constantly watching that sort of stuff so I can be like, oh, okay, so like they did this or they did that, and it just makes me a better overall person that I can talk to and like get better at, so
for sure. Yeah. And success, you can't really do it on your own.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Best of luck on the solo stuff. Again, the collaborations. I'm excited for new stuff to come on the horizons. But I think we kind of alluded to this a little bit, but I'm curious to delve into it a little bit more. Who are you influenced by? I know you mentioned Mariah Carey, but like who specifically like got you started into singing? I know you've been singing since you're of a young age. So like who kind of inspired you early on, and then who kind of influences you more currently in terms of music?
Well, actually, I didn't start singing like English songs or Western songs until like much later on, and like not seriously, at least.
Sure. Yeah.
Like growing up, just around the house, like my parents would play like Viet music, and so growing up, I would always be listening to Viet music, and that's when my passion for music really began. And then my parents would like turn on the karaoke, and I guess like I was just so fascinated about like I guess I was just fascinated like towards like the colored words like just running through the
I got you.
Yeah. So I found it pretty cool, and so that's how I started singing. And like growing up, and like up until now, I like I've always been involved, like performing for like Vietnamese events, functions, concerts, all that stuff. I'm definitely involved in the community. And in terms of like English songs, like throughout the course of my life, like I had the opportunity to be mentored by many vocal coaches. Super grateful for those experiences. And so it wasn't up until like I don't know, like 12, 13 years old, where I started when I first got exposed to Western music.
Sure. Yeah.
And then like once I got into high school, that's when I started becoming more familiar with English songs. Yeah. And then there was a time in my life, like, where I kind of took a break from performing, Vietnamese stuff.
Sure.
And I just focused solely on Western music and break into the Western music industry. And then now, as of last year, actually, I'm, trying to do both.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I feel like for me, like, it's a little bit of a different situation. Like, I'm adopted, so, like, my parents are just, like, full on like middle American white folk, you know? And so like for me, I never had that opportunity to kind of like learn and grow about like, you know, like Asian experiences and stuff until I was like a lot older. And so I feel like with your instance, it's always, or any, you know, Asian American or Asian person that I have on the channel, it's always interesting to see like how they kind of grew up with that. And I know how big like karaoke is in Asian cultures, you know, so I find it very fitting that you got interested into singing because of karaoke, you know, in a somewhat, so I find that really cool. And like, you know, for me, like, everybody's like, oh, do you do karaoke and stuff? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it never really crossed my mind, but like, I understand how big of a cultural thing it is for like Asian people to do. So I'm hoping that
especially when it gets competitive with like the scoreboards and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. So hopefully, fingers crossed this year or next year that we get out to a karaoke bar and I really just strut it.
Definitely.
So how does that, I guess, like growing up and being a part of a Vietnamese family, like how has that kind of shaped your singing and like your growth? Like you said, most of your, you know, beginning of your life, you were singing like a lot of Vietnamese music. So like, and I've never really had someone on here that has had that experience at least yet. So like, you know, how has that kind of shaped your like singing style, and how does it kind of compare to like Western, like more Americanized music? Because like I'm sure the phrasing and like the wording and all that stuff is like completely different.
Pronunciation for sure. Well, right off the bat, I must say that being exposed to Vietnamese music or Asian music at such an early age, I can confidently say that it really gave me the opportunity to appreciate different styles, different genres of music.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
And I feel like as an artist, that's incredibly important. While you know, it is vital to know what your sound is. You know, I feel like as an artist, you should definitely appreciate all styles of music. And for me, at least, you know, even though I know my sound, even though I know what I want, my music, I'm not afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
I used to be like, you know, I used to feel reluctant, you know, towards, you know, stepping out of my comfort zone in that sense.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, like I'm not afraid to experiment, you know, think outside the box, and you know, and to not limit myself from any potential opportunities or possibilities. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, glad that obviously you've kind of fused both worlds, and hopefully, who knows, maybe you wind up doing like, you know, a half Vietnamese, like an Americanized song, like half Vietnamese, half like English. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. So I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that's an idea.
For sure. And it's kind of interesting because you brought up like the intonation and the phrasing. Yeah. Vietnamese words when sung, there are certain, you know, there are certain moments like where like, it can get a little, you know, challenging.
Sure.
You know, with like certain vowels and consonants, but you know, we love a challenge. And you know, growing up, you know, like you know, grew up listening and singing to like, you know, like the big songs, like very, very difficult songs. And many of them actually happened to be songs sung by female vocalists.
Ooh.
And actually, I was a late bloomer with puberty, so it didn't hit me till like junior year of high school, and then it kind of went downhill from there a little bit, and then it fluctuated, and then it finally settled. So you know, singing big songs, and anything of that nature, yeah, has always been a part of my life. But kind of interesting because lately I've been, again, you know, all about, you know, like trying something new, being experimental.
Sure.
Lately I've been, you know, practicing vocal restraint, and you know, I guess just normalizing that, like I don't have to belt all the time.
Sure.
You know, and I guess like back then, I always, you know, felt pressured as an artist that, you know, in order for you to be a good singer, you have to have a crazy ass range. You need to have these impressive riffs, runs, melismas, all that stuff. And that used to be my mindset for the longest time. And I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, like it is a damaging, unhealthy mindset to have.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, lately I've been, you know, really trying to change that perspective, and you know, just really reminding myself that, you know, that you don't have to belt all the time. It's how you know, use your voice, and to connect with the song, and to, you know, share your story, really. And so most of my recent covers, I haven't been belting as much, and actually many people have mentioned that it's actually a refreshing sound from me, and some people think that it's better than my belting. So that was so that was pretty interesting to hear, you know, getting all the feedback from you know, the audience. So yeah,
I think there's like, and I checked out, so like I said, I've checked out your covers, and I was like, I kind of saw like the shift between like just like a mostly belting kind of stuff, like definitely great regardless of whatever land in the spectrum, it's all good, but like I've always like appreciated like the beauty and the subtleness of like somebody singing, like whether it be like their tone or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, maybe I'm just a music nerd and that's what I like look out for, just something unique. But like for me, like when I was listening to some of the covers, I was like, especially the more current ones, I was like, wow, I was like, he's really kind of hitting those like more subtle moments like super well, like super clean. And there was just something about it that I was like, man, this is what's gonna, like, was like a reason why I was like, I have to reach out, because I was like, this is too cool to not have on the channel, you know.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like I've definitely been using my lower register more, much more than usual.
Sure.
But it's honestly, you know, been a fun experience for me, and vocally healthy, I guess.
Sure, yeah. You got to utilize it all, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see you know, what else is in store, musically speaking.
Awesome. Well, the next question is keeping it more current. What have you been listening to lately? What have you been jamming at, whether it be work, regular leisure, anything? What have you been listening to lately?
Well, if I'm not listening to Mariah, which is like 95% of the time, again, yeah, like she's, I'm not sure if you could tell already, but, you know, based on, you know, my singing videos, I'm heavily influenced by like, you know, by the balladeers, so like Mariah, Whitney Houston, and then growing up, like I listened to Celine Dion, a bunch of like female artists. Lately I've been super into Ava Max.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Yeah, like she's great. All of her songs are like catchy, like they're feel good music. Yeah, all positive vibes all around. Again, you know, like I've always, you know, been exposed to, you know, like ballad music, big theatrical, dramatic even. And you know, while all of that's great, and you know, that will always be a part of me, because, you know, through those songs, they're able to, you know, they definitely played a significant factor in molding me to the artist that I am today.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, at the same time, again, like, you know, I don't want to limit myself. I want to, you know, be versatile. So, you know, listening to like, you know, like Ava Max, like Dua Lipa, like more like, you know, upbeat songs.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like you know, like I want to, you know, experience those moments as well. And honestly, like if one were to ask me, like, you know, who do I listen, or, you know, or which male artist do I listen to be honest with you, I mean, like, I don't have like a set person in mind. I mean, if it's there and I like it, then I'll just let it play. But like my go-tos would be like Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, Ava Max, Demi Lovato. And as you can see, like these are all like powerhouses. Yeah.
I did notice that, like, in your style of singing, like I was like he must be like really into like strong female pop singers, which is totally cool. I'm like, I feel like most people that aren't familiar with the channel, like I listen to like a lot of like metal and like rock and that sort of stuff, but I absolutely love Dua Lipa. I don't know why, but she's fantastic. I've been like on a Dua Lipa kick for like probably a couple months now. and my God, she's great. But I also love Demi because Demi is like basically, you know, just like she grew up listening to like that alternative and like rock and all that sort of stuff. So I find a lot of semblance and like the music that she writes as well as just like her voice.
There's so much like emotion and like vulnerability that comes out of her work.
Yeah, 100%.
Feel it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just hoping she records a rock record, Demi, if you watch my channel. I know you watch my channel, Demi, but like, you know, if you record a rock record, ooh, I'd be so about it. But next question would be another fun one. I'm sure you probably don't get asked this as much as you probably should be, but what is your favorite food to eat?
Okay. Actually, hold up. I just remembered something. I guess they're not a solo artist. They're a group, they're a band.
Sure.
Mad respects to Queen, Freddie Mercury. Yeah, they're amazing. He's a legend. May he rest in peace. So there's that. But anyways, going back to your next question. Oh my gosh, I'm such a foodie. Like, I love music and I love to eat. Oh my gosh, like damn, you can't put me on the spot like this. I can't. There's just so many. Okay, well, I guess, you know, I'm not sure if it's due to the pandemic. You know, we haven't, you know, like been eating out as much, and you know, trying to save money. But we all love Korean barbecue.
You're right.
All that stuff. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not a picky eater, so. Yeah, like, you know, anything to do with food, I'm like the last person you want to talk to. I'm usually a bad influence. Like, so when I say that, I mean, like, let's say it's like 2 a.m. and like a friend were to ask me like, hey, it's 2 a.m. I know it's like bad to eat at this time. What should I do? Like, can you be like my voice of reason? like don't even like, because I will enable that behavior. Because I do it too.
Oh, I'm so bad. Yeah, I know.
You know what? Whatever. No shame in, you know, gluttony every once in a while. Well, I guess speaking of food, let me ask you, because you know, this is a controversial.
Sure.
What's your stance on pineapples on pizza?
Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for this. I can feel the keyboard warriors at it right now. I am a pineapple on pizza stan. I will die on that grave. I am totally okay with that. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just the dumb foodie brain in my head, but like I love the kind of like, it has to be with like some sort of like, I feel like ham or like pepperoni or something. Like, sure. It's got to work. Like, you know, I feel like otherwise like it would just be weird. But I mean, this is the only reason that I thought of that why I feel like people like don't understand why it doesn't work is that like tomatoes a fruit. So like, and pineapple's also a fruit. So it's just like 2 fruits with cheese on it, and mozzarella cheese doesn't really have a lot of flavor on it anyway. Exactly. So I'm just like, pineapple pizza. That makes sense. I don't know. I know I'm gonna get hate for it, so it's fine.
I've always enjoyed the flavor profile. I mean, I think people just need to be open-minded. I mean, like, I'm not expecting for like, you know, for you to like love it. I mean,
sure,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, you're your own person. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, you can't expect everyone to like, you know, the same things you do.
Sure, yeah.
Everyone has their preferences, but I mean, like, you know, but like, I don't know. I feel like pineapples on pizza, like, they get so much hate.
Oh, 100%.
More than they should. It's like, yeah. Sweet and savory. I mean, they go together, and arguably, like, there are tons of dishes out there with those 2 flavor profiles.
Sure. 100%.
Fused together. So I don't understand like where they got that argument from, but we'll save that for another day.
It's like chocolate covered pretzels, you know, like people like, it's the same thing, you know. Yeah, if you don't like chocolate covered pretzels, you can't hate on people who like pizza, you know, pineapple on pizza.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Oh my gosh, we're getting so much hate at this. Oh. No one's they're just gonna be fixated on the pineapples and pizza.
Oh, it's gonna be the worst clickbait of all time.
I love durian though.
Oh, okay. I feel like I haven't had it in a while. But I hear it's. I mean, honestly, I feel like that gets a lot of hate too. But like, I could understand the reason why.
I could understand a little bit more, but the pineapple and pizza, I don't know. Yeah.
Nah, I don't get that. I feel like the question you asked me was a deflection to answer the question that I asked you, which was the favorite food.
A little.
Just a little, yeah.
Okay, honestly, I was just curious to see where you stood.
Sure.
That's okay.
But anyway, I guess we'll pass over that question for now. We'll have Joy answer it another time because I'm very curious. I'm very curious what his answer would be. So we'll have to come back to that one. But the next thing would be, obviously you're on here for music reasons. Who would be one person you would want to collaborate with? You know, whether it be a guest feature on an upcoming record or a producer you'd like to work with in the future.
Okay, well, want to dream big, then Mariah Carey. Well, honestly, just to meet her would be
fair. That's fair.
For me, yeah. Fair. But like, I got the opportunity to like collaborate with her, which I guess where I'm at right now is
still happen.
You know what? Never say never, right? It's good to have these dreams and aspirations because you never know what could happen.
Never know.
But yeah, so definitely Mariah Carey. In terms of now, I mean, like, there's really no one specifically that I have in mind. I just want to, continue like networking and connecting with people, and if these creatives that I'm talking to, I feel we're able to like resonate.
Sure, yeah.
And we have like similar visions. Then let's do it. Let's work on something. Let's put something out. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Well, if you would like to work with Joy, then I will leave links to his social media down below, of course, as I always do. But hit him up for a collaboration. I'm sure he would be more than glad to do it. But go check his stuff out. But anyway, next question. I always love asking this, and I'm curious if you are somewhat of a nerd like I am. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
Well, Pokemon stand all the way. I'm not as obsessed as I used to, but I still, love it very much. Actually, this year marks its 25th anniversary. So yay! But to answer your question, I don't know, like, either either Togepi or Pikachu. I don't know.
That's great. Yeah. Oh my god, that's awesome. Well, it's funny because I have this like little Pikachu.
Oh my god, me too, in my closet.
Yeah, I have him hanging out. I have it all over my apartment, if I'm gonna be honest. So I'm just a massive Nintendo nerd.
I don't know about you, but I'm so excited for the Gen 4 remakes.
Oh, very excited. It's gonna be very cool.
Actually, like my journey started at the Sinnoh region. Okay, this is like I feel like we're like slowly straying further and further away from. Like,
it's okay. This is what my channel is dedicated to anyway. Is straying further and further from the main point into tangents.
It's okay. We love this. But yeah. I'm super excited. Definitely, like the trailer brought back, so much nostalgia. So yeah, a lot of great things to look forward to.
Oh, 100%.
Musically and gaming. Yeah.
There we go. Yes, absolutely. Listen, if you would love to work with me, I would be overjoyed with that. Just because I'm a Nintendo stan all the way, so like that would be cool. And work with Joy too, for sure. Like he I'm sure he would very much appreciate that.
I mean, like if I get to work with Nintendo, in terms of like being a part of the soundtrack.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
Like count me in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I would just want to be like a character. I would want to be at that level of like notoriety where I could be in a game and they'd be like, we put you in the Pokemon game. Like you could just close out everything that I've ever done in my entire life and I'd be completely set if it happened like that. But next question, Doi, getting back to music, because that's what we were originally here for, as much as I'd love to talk about video games for the entirety of our interview. What would be a like dream show, dream tour lineup? Like if you were to compile one, who would be on it? Obviously, you would be on the bill, of course. But who would you want to see on that?
Ooh, lineup. Okay. It's Mariah Carey again.
Oh, would have never guessed that.
Right? Okay. Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, pretty much like, you know, all the artists that I had mentioned. And then also, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this artist. His name is Jake Cyrus. He's a Filipino. Sorry, my brain farted for a second.
That's okay.
I'm not sure if you remembered an artist named Charisse.
It sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
Singer, like with a big voice, sang David Foster, was on Glee for a couple episodes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was on like the Ellen Show, Oprah, all that. So it's been a couple years now, but he's a transgender male.
Okay.
And his name is Jake Cyrus. And actually, I had the huge honor to have met him and to have had several moments with him, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we know of each other. We know each other, like well.
Yeah.
But we don't talk so much anymore. He's been living a low key life. Like in the Philippines. He's a massive gamer as well. So yeah, but I would love like for him to share the stage, with me. That'll be a really cool experience. Mad respect to him. And as someone from the LGBTQ community myself, I'm an openly gay male. He has definitely played a huge part and such an inspiration to so many people who are either struggling to come to terms with their own identity, or who are struggling to gain acceptance and support from like those around them. So yeah, mad respect towards him. And anybody else? Again, like I said, I'm open-minded to work with any creative. Again, just as long as we click well, we vibe well, we resonate, and just create the best music that we can together.
There we go. Well, if you'd like to see this tour, listen, it's gonna happen in insert year. We're all about dreams here on the Audio Addiction channel. So if we can make this happen, I mean, that would be amazing. I'm sure Doi would be very happy to tour with Mariah Carey, his idol. So if you want to make that happen, you know what to do. You gotta hop on Twitter. You gotta type in TheOneDNA, TheOneDNA, and Mariah Carey, and you gotta let her. You gotta put him on her radar. That's what we're all about here. So if you want to do that, definitely go do that. I'm sure he would be greatly appreciative, and who knows? Maybe I want to say I'm gonna call it, but like I'd like to say that I called it.
Let's manifest it.
Manifest it. That's the thing.
Brandon, I would love to potentially work on something with you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, hopefully we'll wind up doing something together in the future. Absolutely. So I'm always open to have. I love the Asian community, so I always gotta try to show that mad love to everybody out there.
But we all gotta stick together, right?
100%. The next question would be, Joy, what is one artist that you have seen live that you're just like absolutely blown away by? I feel like I know the answer slightly. Just because slightly, but if you would love to give an honorable mention, then you could do that as well.
Honorable mention for the 50 millionth time.
Oh, it's okay.
So I've seen Mariah Carey 7 times.
Woo!
Only 7 times. And each and every time, she continues, to impress me and amaze me, as if like I'd never seen her before live.
Sure, 100%.
So yeah. She's incredible. Just knowing that she's like in the same like vicinity as honestly, like, you know, just like the thought of that, you know, gives you chills. But yeah, like legend status. I don't know, just felt very like, it just felt like, you know, so like amazing and like surreal, like to be like, you know, in the same room or the same like area as like, you know, number one idol. I don't know. It was such a magical moment for me. I've seen Ariana Grande 3 times. Like, she can sing. Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato once on her tour with Nick Jonas. Demi Lovato was incredible. When I saw her on tour, trying to see if I've been to anybody else's tour. I think that's it. You know, again, you know, once the whole pandemic blows over and, you know, it's safe enough, you know, for concert venues to open again, yeah, like I definitely want to, you know, experience you know, more shows and, you know, watch other artists perform as well.
Sure.
You know, not only to support them, but also, you know, it'll, you know, help inspire me as an artist, you know, to, you know, evolve, you know, my artistry.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and you know, like my stage presence and pretty much like the works. Yeah. Yeah. And actually I've never been to, you know, a music festival before, so like Coachella,
Sure, yeah,
raves and all that. Like I've never been to one, and you know, like I'll admit, like, you know, like I was never really all about that scene.
Sure.
I guess you could say, like, I was like more or less like closed-minded about it back then, but you know, like over time, like, you know, as I got older, I you know, I became like more like, you know, open-minded to it, and I actually wanted to experience like, you know, a music festival. You know, I wanted to start off like, you know,
getting into it, yeah.
Like, you know, still like getting into it. So I wanted to go to Coachella, but you know, with the whole pandemic, you know, that didn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I get to experience that soon. And yeah, and then to be able to, you know, if I get the chance to, you know, perform at Coachella, that'd be great too. Yeah.
There we go. Well, that is another one for the bucket list. I don't know how that would happen. I don't unfortunately have connects to Coachella, but if I did, I would high key put you on the list. But no, I can say, coming from someone who goes to a lot of shows, like obviously pre-pandemic, it's such an experience. I don't know, maybe it's just me, because like I love experiencing like a band and seeing them live and performing and stuff like that. It's such a cool thing. But I did have a question about, I'm sure we talked a lot about Mariah Carey at this point. Does she like, since the many times that you've seen her, has she switched her setup? Does she always have like different songs that she plays, or does she kind of keep to the same, like, obviously there's like hits that she has, of course, you know, like.
Well, here's the thing, like, they're conceptual. So her residency show in Vegas, the first few years, the show was called Number One to Infinity. So that show was specifically designed for all of her number ones.
Sure, yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah, plus her, you know, her latest release at the time, Infinity, you know, which is why, like, you know, she named the show Number One to Infinity.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so she had to, I guess, strictly perform, you know, her number one songs, you know, so that it probably like reflects on, like, you know, like the show's, like, you know, intention.
Sure.
And then like, you know, after that run was done, she then changed her residency to you know, The Butterfly Returns. So yeah, very emancipating, very grand, very Mariah. So yeah, so that she was able, so that particular show, she incorporated in her number ones. I mean, like, she has like 19 number ones.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah, so she incorporated her number ones, while at the same time she included some of her, you know, favorite album cuts and fan favorite songs that, you know, like, that couldn't make it on the set list from the last show.
Sure,
again.
Yeah.
She was only able to perform, you know, like her number ones. So yeah, so you know, we're talking about Mimi, Mariah, Mimi, very elaborate, very grandeur, ensembles.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so there is that. And honestly, like she has great stage presence. She knows how to connect with her audience. Yeah, she can go in a tangent for like 5 hours, for all I care. You know what I mean? Like she's incredible. Like I respect her. But I feel like, she's been in the industry for like 30 years. And I want to say, that, I don't know. It just seems like she doesn't get the respect that she deserves. A lot of people are, she's definitely misunderstood. So, that's definitely something that I want to, shed light on to raise awareness on. Because honestly, like, media, they like to twist certain things and things and, amplify, and she's very, very misunderstood. But like, once you take the time out to like, really, see what she's about, like as a person, just having that mindset, I feel like people, should really give her, that should give themselves the opportunity, because she's a legend. I mean, like she broke, like so many barriers, and she's just incredible.
No, I would absolutely agree. Obviously, my camp of music is completely different than Mariah Carey's, but I know her as an artist and like growing up as a kid and just, understanding how important she is to the like pop mainstream of music and how she continues to still be, extremely talented, extremely well versed as an artist and stuff. And so, obviously, like, I'm not as much of a Mariah stan as you are, of course, because that would just be a very tall mountain to climb, period. But I respect a lot of what she does. I think she's, like I said, I 100% agree with you that she's a legend, absolutely. And, I hope that I hope she gets the recognition that she deserves, as an artist, because she has brought so much talent over the years,
Part like generations of singers, and obviously, she doesn't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. Like she's like legend status.
Sure, yeah.
Just to appreciate her, for who she is, and again, just give respect where it's due, because she's done so much, like within the music industry. And it's just sad because like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so I mean, like, it's just one of those like moments like where like like the artist like passes away first and then you give them the respect, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
And you see that so often, and that's just so disheartening,
Yeah, I think it's just
don't take people for granted,
Sure. I feel like that's kind of the commonality of artists, and I think like more specifically pop artists. Like you figure, like Queen probably didn't get the notoriety that they deserve when Freddie Mercury passed away, and obviously they're an icon, they're a legend, they're a generational band, and obviously they have people that are still they have Adam Lambert, who is still kind of controlling the helm for Queen and stuff. So I do find that like a lot of the times, just like I feel like in the pop sphere, it's always tough to like always, I guess, like be noticed and have people, like you said, appreciate their work while they're still alive, So I think a lot of people are take it for granted, like what's already there, and then like once it's all over with, it's like, oh, okay, whatever, like they're now I'm really gonna delve into them. So I think it just gives us more of an opportunity to kind of like, especially people who like really are delved into music, to like really care about artists that like have been have that sort of legendary status, that have been doing it for such a long time, to just kind of give them their dues,
Right, for sure. Yeah.
But the next question, Joy, just to kind of make it a little bit more lighthearted, what is your favorite TV show and favorite movie currently?
Okay, I'm not much of a movie person.
Okay.
So 9 times out of 10, when people would ask me like, have I seen this movie? Have you seen this show? I'll most likely say no. You mean like the most like WTF look? they could give. And yeah, like I don't know, like like I guess I'm not much of a movie person.
That's fair.
Like I'm more about like like the musical aspect of things.
Sure.
But I guess if we're talking about, I mean, I don't live under a rock entirely, so I guess I love well, not I guess, I know I love horror movies.
Okay.
There's that. And a couple of my favorite shows on Netflix, Kim's Convenience. Again,
yes.
I love Kim's Convenience. I don't know. I mean, if I see a movie, I watch it. If it's good, then that's great. Otherwise, it's
Yeah, funny story about that. Like, so I think my girlfriend is currently right now watching Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
So, or I think it's either Kim's. Is it Kim? I think it's Kim's Convenience. Yeah. So she's watching that now, and then like a couple weeks, I think probably like a month or two ago, we watched Parasite because I don't know why we just forgot. We were just like, what's all the hype about it? And not like because it's just like a hyped movie. It's like it's cool to see like, Korean, director, put a movie out, obviously win, Western awards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I watched that and we were like, our eyes were like so big and like our mouth was like on the floor. It was such a great movie. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. Yeah, and it's just really great, like like to see lately, so many like Asian artists, crossing over into the Western market. That's great, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop here. We got to keep.
You gotta keep going. Yeah.
Like, you see, like artists like BTS.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need more.
100%. Well, I hope to see the OneDNA up there one day, and then I could be like, listen, I interviewed him many years ago. Listen, thank you. Well, I hope to be up there at some point in my life. So we'll see how that goes. But the next question, Joy, another fun one. If you were trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one record you could bring with you, what would it be?
Have to be a Mariah Carey record.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. I would expect nothing less, honestly.
I don't know. She has like so many great records. Wow. I mean, her catalog is like beyond extensive.
Massive,
yeah. See, I don't know because also it really depends on my mood. But I guess like if I were trapped on an island, damn.
Do you think double or nothing question? Do you think you could tier list the Mariah Carey like albums? Like, do you think you could like rate them from 1 to however many? I don't know how many records Mariah Carey has done, but like,
I could.
You could?
I could.
All right, you want to do it? Yeah, right now. Let's do it on the spot.
All right. Wait. Do you want me to include like her like compilation albums, extended mixes? And all
I feel like
stuff?
So I feel like we should do just like the run of the mill, like what, like just her studio records, like whatever she's mainline, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, hold up. Let me.
He's really getting into
Zen
mode.
Let me in my head. Okay, so I know her fan base, the Lambilly, they're pretty savage. So any fans who are watching this, like, please don't at me. Like I have
don't
the right
at
to
me either. I don't want that.
I'm entitled to my own opinion. Don't yuck my yum. But
yeah, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, I mean, like the point is, like, she's great. Her work's great. But of course, there's some, to me, are much better than others.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. So with that said, okay, I guess we'll start from the lowest.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Charm Bracelet. It's all right. I mean, like, it's like one of like the least Mariah Carey albums that I listen to. And then I guess the next one up would be I guess they both fall in the same tier. Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel.
Okay.
Do you want me to include her Christmas albums too?
I mean, just keep it to this. Keep it to like, I guess whatever. Main, yeah.
And then we'll go to the next tier.
Okay.
Let's see. Me, I Am Mariah, The Elusive Chanteuse, and then Glitter. I don't know. I feel like Glitter should be in the next tier up. Maybe Glitter could be between that.
Okay, it's a mid-tier. It's mid-tier.
And the tier above that. Okay, and then next would be actually let's go back to the tier below. Emotions, that album. You know, like there are a couple of standout songs there, but I don't really listen to that album that much. And then, anyways, going back to the current tier, Equals MC Squared, and then I'm gonna. And then Music Box. Music Box is one of those like in between tiers.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go up another tier. Daydream. Phenomenal album. Released in the mid '90s, 1995. And then The Emancipation of Mimi. We all know that album, right? Come on, We Belong Together. Don't forget about us.
Yeah. I even know that, and I'm not.
Without a doubt. And then Butterfly. I love that album too. So that falls on the same tier. Okay. So, I was just trying to visualize it in my head. Okay, so what I have left would be Caution. So Caution, Rainbow.
Okay.
I think that's all I guess. So, I didn't mention her debut album yet, huh?
I'm not sure. I don't know Mariah like you do, so I'm just here for the ride.
All over the place. Sorry. Okay, so her debut, Caution, and Rainbow. Okay, so I'm gonna categorize them.
Okay.
So I guess Rainbow would fall somewhere like in one of the middle tiers.
Okay.
Her debut album would definitely fall like between the third and the second.
Okay.
Closer towards the second tier and second highest tier. And Caution, like between second and third tier, closer to the third tier.
Okay.
I think that's it. If we're talking about the main studio albums, yeah.
Okay.
I hope I didn't say anything. She just has so many. Yeah, she has so many.
She has a lot of records. I did not.
Yeah.
When you were naming them off, I was just like, is she gonna like? How many more records does she have? And like, it was more of a weighted question because I was very worried on how many records you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say there was like 20 records that Mariah Carey stuff.
Oh, for sure. But honestly, like what's impressive, and I feel like not many people know about, is that, you know, besides like, you know, the covers that she's recorded, she writes all of them.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see that, you know?
Yeah, and like her lyrics, like damn, like I don't know, like her lyricism, I don't know, takes you back to like AP Lit. Yeah, but very like high-end vocabulary.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure. Well, I mean, she has an immense amount of talent, so I figured, you know, just to cap off the interview that I'd put you in the hot seat and try to get you to list off and tier off the Mariah Carey records. But obviously we're at the end of the line, Joy. Tell them about the OneDNA, where they can find you at on social media, anything you have coming up, anything else you would like to talk about or plug.
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you so much, Brandon, for for this talk. I had such a great time connecting with you. Yeah, of course, thank you. So I'm Dewey, the OneDNA. You can find me on social media, so Instagram, YouTube, the OneDNA. Just as is, no numbers, no nothing. Twitter, it's then one is in the number one. And then DNA, because I guess like the OneDNA was already taken. But whatever. I can share. And in terms of what to expect, I have a music video coming up really, really soon, mid-March. It's a Vietnamese song that one of my very, very good friends and I covered. And the team behind the music video, they're incredible. Super grateful that I got to work with them, and it definitely won't be the last. So shout outs to the team for making that possible. Super excited for everyone to see it. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to promote the heck out of it. Yeah, so expect that to come in the next couple weeks. So be sure to be on the lookout for that video. And again, if you want to, be, kept in the loop for updates and all that fun stuff, don't forget to follow and subscribe to my social media platforms. I would appreciate the support.
There we go. Well, massive shout outs to the ACN, because I would have found the amazing Asian community out there. Obviously, there's just such a talented Asian community out there, whether it be people who do graphic design or music or any sort of creative thing. And so it's very cool. And of course, thanks to Dewey for coming on and obviously chatting about his music. If you want to check out the OneDNA, all of the links will be in the description, where you can find out about him, his music, follow him on his journey of becoming a musician. I always love having Asian musicians on here, because your boy is very much Asian, so it's always good to represent those sorts of things. So go check that out. If you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm and helps me get out to more people that enjoy music. And obviously, the most important thing, make sure to tweet out Mariah Carey, because listen, Dewey talked a ton about Mariah Carey, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing him a justice if I didn't try to just make this Mariah Carey thing happen. So go make sure to tweet at Mariah Carey. Seriously, I'm sure he would be absolutely thrilled. I would be thrilled. So I feel like you don't want to let us both down,
For sure. Oh, one thing before I forget, I know I brought it up at the beginning, but yeah. Definitely itching to release some original content. So to all you streamers out there, which is pretty much like a good chunk of us.
Yeah, all
Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, all that stuff. Stay tuned for some original content from the OneDNA.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thanks to Dewey for coming on and chatting, and I hope to have you on once you have original content out again, if you'd like to come back on.
Oh yeah, of course, I would love to. This was so much fun. Yeah, for sure.